Thanks for joining me. If you are new to art and craft, it is really easy to get spooked. And what I mean by that is that when we're first learning, there's so many barriers that we can feel are put up and that we put up ourselves to stop us learning further. It has taken me quite a long time to think of myself as an artist, and the things which have encouraged me to get there are the things I'm going to share with you today. My name is Gemma, I'm an artist maker, and my art motto is making to make happy, which essentially just means creating something from the very core of what makes you happy. I hope this video is helpful to you, and let's get started. Allow yourself the time you need. When we see art online or in galleries, we don't necessarily think about how much time that took to create. But when we start to create our own art, then we start to realise just how much goes into just one piece of art. Now, some mediums and materials are quicker than others to use, but generally, if you're creating a piece of art, it's going to take you some time. It's not just the making of the art itself, but it's the thinking about the art and everything which goes into that piece of art before your hands even get on it. The time an idea takes mulling in the back of your brain can be this big. There is no time frame on how long an idea will take to brew, and there shouldn't be a time frame. It'll take however long it takes. But it's really easy to feel guilty about that. We all have so many things that we feel we should be doing, and we sometimes make art and craft feel like it's an indulgence. But it shouldn't be an indulgence. It should be a little bit like self-care. It's something which needs time put into it, and that should be guilt-free time. Maybe you want to schedule in a certain time slot in the day, which makes you feel more in control of the rest of the time around it, and that allows you to have the freedom to enjoy that certain time slot. Or that may not be available to you, and you might have to slip art in. Oh, this is an interesting little moment here. But you might want to slip art in wherever you can fit it, and that's fine too, as long as whenever you manage to get these moments in, it's time that you are saying, this is okay, and I'm allowed to do this, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, because this is for me. You don't know what you don't know. You will always be learning. At the start of any new thing, you just don't know stuff. It's a thing. And how can you possibly know what you'll be good at unless you give it a go? So often, the main phrase that I hear someone say is, I can't do art. It's just a flat no. But art is broad, like broad. It's a huge field, and it encompasses so much, so much. So there must be something in there which can excite you. You may not be somebody who is excited by paper and drawing. You may have tried drawing and thought, well, that doesn't look very good, I don't really like it. And then you stop, and then that's done, and that's, I can't do art. But perhaps you are somebody who works better in 3D. You could try sculpting or building something in cardboard as a model. In the past, I know that I have said I am rubbish at sport. And there are perhaps a lot of people who would agree. But I am determined to think that sport is so broad, and I have not tried all the sports. So how can I say I'm rubbish at sport? There may be something out there which I'm a bit better at, and certainly, like, I can hit a shuttlecock. My point is that until you've exhausted all possibilities in a certain area, then try not to be so hard on yourself as to say that you cannot do something and that you're rubbish at it, because all that does is reaffirm that thought in your head that you won't succeed at it. We are always learning, we are always getting better, and it doesn't matter. We should do it just because it's fun. And regardless of the judgment that you place on yourself for how well you did in a certain thing, remember that it's not all about that. If you enjoyed trying a new thing, then that is valuable in itself. And this brings me on to my next point. Don't focus on the outcome. Often we will place the weight of whether or not we've succeeded with an art piece on the end result. We look at an art piece and its whole worth is determined by what we see in that end moment. But the value for the artist is in the way you made it. The time you took, the decisions you made, the days you spent mulling over it in the back of your head. The value for the artist is in how you felt when you were painting it or sculpting it or crafting it. It's in the calm and the focus that you found and the fun that you had. The moments when it went wrong, when it looked funny, when you felt like it was headed for the bin. But when you tweaked something and suddenly it changed direction. All of those moments of feeling your hands moving and making, those are your end goal. Sketchbooks can help, but are not for everyone. As a beginner, you can sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed by all the rules that seem to be around art. One of the ones I struggled with at college was being told I had to have a sketchbook. I was very much somebody who wanted to dive in to art, and I wanted to just, if I had an idea, just make it. Just go in and have a go, see what happens. And yes, I made mistakes that way, gosh darn lots of them, but it was fun. And although I am very much a planner in my everyday life and I like to prepare for things, with art, because it was something I just wanted to enjoy in that moment, it felt very restrictive to be told, well, actually, you must put that idea in a sketchbook first and develop that idea further. It kind of felt like I was having to prolong the moment, you know, and I was kind of missing that initial joy, buzz thing. You know. Do you know? I hope you know. Over time and being taught how to get the most from a sketchbook, I do understand the value of them, and anybody who finds a sketchbook helpful, go for it. It is a wonderful tool if it works for you. I like to think of sketchbooks as playgrounds, mistake makers, the holders of half-formed ideas where there is no judgment. You do not have to share that sketchbook with anybody. You can if you want, but you just don't have to. They are places where if you've got an idea but you don't quite know what to do with it and you don't really want to try making it right now, but you might in the future, you can pop it in the sketchbook and it's safe there. It's got a home, it's got a place, and you can come back to it later. The other thing with sketchbooks is that so often if you buy one, then you get scared of it. Like if it's a brand new pristine sketchbook, and you can get very pretty sketchbooks these days, and you look at them and you kind of don't want to ruin it with your art. Like how funny are we that we don't want to put art into the sketchbook which is for art? We're just not confident enough in our own thoughts and ideas, and we don't think that they are valued enough to go on the pages of this pristine book. Like, what's with that? Like, the whole point of sketchbooks is that they are places where you can make your mistakes, because they're the preamble, as it were, before you get to your proper art piece. So they're the place for practice and for where you can do things and just see if they work, and if they don't, it doesn't matter. Also, if you've got pages in your sketchbook which you really don't like, and I have plenty of those where I've just started something and then thought, this doesn't work, so let's just go on to the next page, let's forget about that. But when you're flicking back through it, you might look at it and go, oh, that was a wasted page. But often you'll have an idea and you won't have your sketchbook with you, and you perhaps have put it on just a scrap of paper or something. Well, you can always stick those bits of paper in and stick them over the bits that you don't like in your sketchbook. Create collaged pages that feel more like what you want your sketchbook to be like. The point is, use them if they help you, If they don't, let them go. Art is individual and subjective. For a very long time, I thought my work wasn't art because it was smaller in scope. I liked creating figurative drawings or functional items like puppets and props, things you could use. I liked to create things with stories attached to them, and this all felt like it wasn't conceptual, and that art should be conceptual and should create a message and be able to make someone feel something, you know? There seemed to be a strange disconnect between art and craft and design, these kind of things over here, which feel more like practical doing things, whereas art seemed to be this thing which floats above, which means so much more and that we have to struggle to understand. But just because something is conceptual, it doesn't make it art, or enjoyable art. And just because something is functional doesn't mean that it is not art and not beautiful. The art world itself can sometimes feel quite judgy. And as a newbie coming into it, you can feel a little bit small and like, how could you possibly even begin to become part of it? But creating art is a personal triumph, and sharing those triumphs is what helps us to grow. Sharing the art we make is a way of sharing our worlds with each other. We get to see things in different ways and learn new techniques from each other. Often we don't share because we're too scared of the judgment that someone will deliver upon ourselves, and we feel like our value will go down because somebody doesn't like the art that we have created. But by sharing your own personal art, sometimes someone else can see it and feel like they have been seen. And that is such a gift. Why wouldn't we want to connect with each other in that way? It's completely fine if you don't want to share your art, if you want to keep it personal to you and just do it just for your own soul. That's totally okay. But if there's a tiny part of you that wants to share but just feels scared to do that, then try to let go of the judgment on yourself. And try to see it as a way of reaching out to somebody else who is also on that arty journey. Thank you for watching this video. I don't know whether it was helpful, but I really hope it was. If you yourself have any tips and tricks that you have learned through your arty journey that you can share with others to encourage them to keep on learning, keep on growing, then add them in the comments down below. I'd love to read them. And if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Keep making to make happy, and I'll see you next time.